Lowndes Square wasn't as good as the Bow Square.
I just entered the set with the bed scene, so that was the first scene that we did. And that took us 7 days.
That was absolutely marvellous because it was shot on a Bolex camera on 16mm on Ektachrome and forced to develop several times. Nick put a big lamp right down on the bedclothes, so the light that was actually coming and lighting them was filtered through blankets, which was really beautiful because they had this wonderful warm feel. So we shot one roll, and I came up and I said to Nick, well, we better reload the camera. And Nick said, you've had enough fun, now I'm taking over.
It's not much fun, but it looks like fun anyway, yeah. But I mean, even with Michelle, she was so insecure by then. I mean, the reality is like different. It's the magic of film, isn't it?
I think I would make a distinction between the first and the second and half of the film in terms of the acting. In the first half of the film, if you look at the script, the film is following the script actually very closely. You get into Powis Square and things completely disintegrate. The original script has a huge plot line about a drugs bust. People come in and out of the house, there's a whole kind of business around it. All of that disappears in favour of Jagger, Pallenberg and Fox alone in the house.
James Fox, the big hero of mine, there he was, you know, sitting at the table with a script from morning until evening, hardly saying a word, you know. I mean, we must have driven him quite crazy, really.
Fox will tell you that was very close to what Pallenberg was doing to him all the time. You know, he was the straight guy who she was mocking, guying, etc.
But he did it perfectly without, you know, he's an actor, so he didn't really need to.
How much did you give him?
2/3 of the big one.
Oh, that's insane.
What's certain is there's an enormous number of reference to the most important contemporary literature, to Borges, to Burroughs, to Genet, to Artaud. Cammell was a very, very well-read figure, and the references wind in and out all through the film.
Well, there's a lot of things in the film. You know, if you look, you're going to find them. I mean, how many people know that it's Borges when, you know, that moment happens? 1% of the audience. But that's Donald. But again, that's the energy that's in the film, isn't it?
They would not have allowed such things to happen to me in the sanitarium, he thought. And he felt two things. The first...
Yes, I know why.
Yeah?
Yes. What is it?
I mean, he was influenced tremendously by Borges, wasn't he? Where does a bullet go? Goes right through him, doesn't it? The glass shatters into Borges' head. I mean, that's where Donald wanted to be, inside Borges' head. Donald was in Borges' head.
You could take the film and literally go through it for literature, for painting, for, you know, film, for, I mean, it's a huge repertoire of references. For music, Robert Johnson is in there. You know, this is a film which really is drawing on very wide, much wider than normal, expanse of culture. You don't have to know Artaud's theories about madness to understand what Turner's saying.
The only performance that makes it, that really makes it, that makes it all the way, is the one that achieves madness, right? Am I right? You with me?
I'm with you.
It also gives us the soundtrack. It gives us the Jack Nietzsche music. It gives us the synthesizer, which didn't even exist in '69.
My dad was always looking for new sounds or combinations, always working on chords. My father was proud of the score. I think it was the first time that he was sort of given free rein to experiment, and it really energized him. He got one of the first 9 Moog synthesizers ever, and he got it specifically to work on performance. And I do remember him bringing it in the house and setting it up, and it was like a kid in a toy shop, you know, and just playing around with all the sounds, and I was just blown away because, you know, you never heard anything like that in the '60s.
Before that, we had to record some backing tracks. Remember, you know, Mick sings in the film. And we had to have some backing tracks to go with it. So even before Jack Nietzsche came on, we had to organize some recording to be done for Mick's song.
Shooting Memo for Turner was wonderful fun. It was the first music video. It was my first film as a camera operator, so it was very much in at the deep end. And a lot of it quite tricky, actually. There was things like Mick had to spin around and smash the butt of a pistol into the mirror, and I had to zoom in on it, it was a oncer because the mirror was built, it was part of the building. It wasn't like now where you'd have 6 or 7 repeats and you could do it over and over again. It was called first take or nothing.
The excitement of filmmaking is the unexpected. You know, just that one element that you cannot absolutely predict.
I had to reshoot a scene, and that was the one with the too much B12 doesn't hurt anybody, where, because by then I already had a habit, and I thought I was being very secretive about it. I didn't realize everybody knew. And so he made me do that scene, and it's B12, it's a vitamin. And then he gets a good shot of my bottom.
But there are those wonderful, absolutely unpredictable moments just in the performance.
And then the scene where I go down in the elevator with blood on my whatever, and I probably hide Mick's body. And that's probably when they decided what the ending was going to be.
Hello, Chaz.
It's quite clear that when they finished editing, after a long time, it was a long edit in London, they had a film which Roeg, Cammell and Lieberson, the 3 key people, decided was a film they wanted to release.
We took a cut of the film to Los Angeles that we all felt was the cut of the movie that we wanted to present to Warner Brothers. And that was a disaster.
We started screening the film, and maybe halfway into it, the audience started to yell at the screen, "This is the worst, mother, so-and-so. This is terrible. This is awful," right?
The cut of the film that we took to Los Angeles and previewed in Los Angeles was a great cinematic disaster. I mean, for that reason alone, it should go down in the history books, I think.
Warner Brothers were horrified. They were horrified by the violence, but they were also horrified by the fact that Jagger didn't appear until so late in the film. You know, here was the one thing they were betting on.
Donald wanted me to cut the movie so that this was in the way that it now is, and I refused to do it. I said, Donald, it's confusing enough already for 3 minutes. If we do it for any longer, we're going to alienate the audience, and I won't do it. I won't do it.
So